Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me.
Welcome back to the show. So you had a pretty good weekend over the weekend, won a lot of money. You placed 9th overall to kind of put you in the national finals rodeo with your point standing. So congrats on that. Of course, tell us about your weekend in North Dakota and how it went for you.
Yes, sir. It was a good weekend. I went to Mona, Utah on Wednesday, and we flew up there. And then a buddy of mine, Jacob Birchfield, he started driving with my horse to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I roped at Mona on Wednesday, ended up placing over there, and then I went on to Sioux Falls, and it was good. I placed in the first go round, qualified to the short round, and then they had a 8-man round. I won that round, then came to the top 4, and I had some tough luck in the top 4, but it was overall a good weekend.
Is it about how you wanted to finish, or did you kind of exceed expectations or kind of go underneath them?
You know, I achieved my goal. So before this week, I wasn't guaranteed to qualify to the national finals, and I went and did it. And then, I mean, whenever we got in the final 4, man, I think I had to be 7-3 to win it, and I was 7 flat, and my calf kicked up. So that was definitely a punch in the gut, you know. But I achieved what I wanted to achieve this week, so we're just going to keep moving forward.
Now, about a month ago, you were just outside the top 15, but you were confident that you could make it to that top 15 platform there. So talk about your strategy going into this final stretch, and you know, was there a strategy, or was it just a matter of getting hot at the right time and making things happen?
You know, I think it was just a matter of, you know, I knew that if I kept doing my job, eventually I'd win. You know, like the first couple of weeks of August, you know, I mean, I might have dropped. I think the last week of August, I started the week 20th or 21st in the world, you know. So, I mean, and I was 15,000 back from the top 15. So, I mean, the month of September was huge for me. You know, it was like every week I won big. But, you know, I think the main part was just keeping my head up whenever it wasn't going good. I know, like, one of the times I talked to y'all was, I think this was maybe the end of July. It was going terrible at the time, and I talked to y'all, you know. So throughout the whole season, you know, I just had to keep believing that things are gonna get better, and you know, I knew I roped good enough to get to the Thomas and Mack. It was just a fact of the matter of when I'm gonna start winning.
So speaking of course, after that performance over the weekend, you're probably on top of the world. You're feeling great about the accomplishments, the goals that you accomplished over the weekend. So talk about, you know, the road trip coming back after a performance like that.
It was a long one. I roped probably about 10:30, I guess Saturday night, and then I was eating lunch at Two Senoritas in Mount Pleasant on Sunday. We got home about 11 a.m. Like I said, me and a buddy drove up there, and we drove all night right back to Mount Pleasant. I was ready to be home.
So I mean, like, there's no, you know, chartered buses or private jets. You guys are just hopping in your vehicles and driving where you got to go, right?
Usually, yes, sir. I mean, I've gotten on a couple charters. This year I had a charter from Abilene back to the short round of Pendleton. I guess that was about 2 weeks ago. So, but the charters are pretty expensive. I try and lay away from them. For the most part, we just drive everywhere.
So on those drives, I mean, sometimes they're pretty long, right? You're driving across the country. Talk about kind of how you pass the time, how you, you know, make those hours go by, those miles go by pretty more easily.
Oh, I don't think you do. I mean, eventually you just get used to it. Like, whenever I'm around here, 3 hours feels like forever because I'm so tired of driving. Whenever I get home, I just want to sit still, not do anything. But whenever you're up north and you're rodeoing, if you have a rodeo within 3 hours, I mean, that's like a trip to the grocery store. I mean, it's right there, you know. So I think during the summer you just get used to it, and then whenever you get home, you get lazy about it because you're so tired of driving. So there ain't much I do to pass the time, just drive.
Now, of course, the National Finals rodeos aren't for another 2 months. So what does the next 2 months look like for you in preparation?
Yes, sir. I'm going to take a little break the next, I guess, 3 days, and then I'm entered up this weekend at some rodeos, so I'll go there. And then next week, same deal, practice a little bit, hunt a little bit, do whatever. And then my brother's getting married next weekend, so once I get home from his wedding, it'll be time to get everything right. And, you know, I'll have 20 head of calves, and hopefully a bunch of practice horses, and it'll be time to get after it, get back in the practice pen.
Well, big congrats to your brother, by the way. Now, this is your second finals rodeos. So talk about your first appearance last year and what you've learned from that competition that you're bringing into this year's finals rodeo.
Yeah, I think the main thing in that building is being on the barrier. You have to be on your start. There's no backing off. So now I can kind of prepare my horse to be ready for that, because like last year, every round I hit the barrier, I won. And then if I was late, that's when I didn't win. So I mean, this horse, this year, I'll be able to prepare my horse to his maximum ability. And I'm so excited about it. I'm pumped up.
Well, speaking of course, it's your name on the marquee, but I mean, you're. I'm sure you'd love to give some credit to your horse, who's been trained with you and kind of stepped up when the time was right, if you'd agree with that. So talk about your horse. What can you tell us about him or her, and how they were like basically a part of your team?
Yes, sir. So the horse I've rode about the past month, his name's Mario. He's 18 years old. I've had him for 2 years, I guess. The 2 years I qualified at the finals, and I mean, he is one of the best I've ever rode. It's like whenever I get on him, my confidence just goes through the roof, and I mean, it's like I'm unstoppable, especially at short setups, fast starts, and that's how it is at the Thomas and Mack. So I mean, I'm more than excited to get on him, but I mean, he's just a huge blessing to me. I mean, every time I get on him, I win. I mean, he's awesome. That's
fantastic to hear. So is it kind of a thing where, I mean, a different horse has suited different riders? I mean, would you have the same success on any other horse that you could find, or is it strictly because of your relationship with Mario?
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to be able to find success on any horse you get on. Like Mario, he's older. He's 18 years old, so I'm not going to go ride him at every rodeo. I kind of pick and choose where I ride him and where I have to win at. So I have another horse called CD. He's been awesome to me, and I actually have 3 right now. It's probably the most I've ever had. But yeah, no, I have 2 other horses that have been awesome to me, and I've won a bunch on. So I'm really blessed to have a full string of good horses.
That's fantastic. So, of course, a very successful year for you. You're doing a lot of work out there, working really hard and bringing home the numbers. But is there anybody else on the team that you'd like to thank for their help in this very successful year that you've had?
You bet. My parents, they've always been supportive of me, and my parents and grandparents, and my siblings, just everybody on my team, all my sponsors. It's been a blessed year, and honestly, like, this year started out very, very rough. I probably wasn't in the top 30 until the end of July, and then it was still rough. But yeah, it's just, I want to thank everybody for staying behind me through the rough times. That way we can get to the good times.
Well, Kincaid, man, you got a big event coming up. Hopefully, in the next 2 months, you get ready and you bring home some accolades to Mount Pleasant. We appreciate your time this morning. We'll look forward to talking to you in the future, bud.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.